Name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Today I want to talk about Saint Athanasius. Saint Athanasius is very important for our church. It's one of the pillars of our church. Jerome, he talked about him and he said, if we not have Athanasius, all world cannot be Jehovah's Witness. To show you how he's very important. Father of the church writing about him in book of Nicene and post-Nicene, they said, if you hear the word for Athanasius and you have no pen, write it in your, you have no paper, write in your shirt. If you have no pen, write with your blood. To show you how every word the Saint Athanasius is saying was very important. Saint Athanasius is the one who writes the creed, and any Christian church around the world until now they use the creed. Truly we believe in one God, and no one allowed to change anything of this creed. They can add, after his departure, they add the creed, they add from the word the Holy Spirit and to the end, and they add the introduction of the creed, but they can't change what Saint Athanasius done. To show you, we are proud, he from our Coptic Orthodox Church. We start his story slowly. He was the Pope number 20 of the throne. Pope Shinoda, which number? 117. Pope Shinoda 117. Look how far he was. He was from the third and fourth generation. We talk about Saint Athanasius. He was the youngest ever Pope sit down on the throne of San Mark. He was less than 30 years old when he was a Pope, and he was under his authority 127 bishops. The second long one, he was a Pope. He sat down on his throne 45 years, but unfortunately it wasn't nice at all. He be exiled from his throne about 5 times. And the time number 6, people will stand up and they said to the empire, if you want to remove him, you kill all of us, you will remove him in our body, to show you how people was loving him. Firstly, some of the scholars, they said his family was Christian and his father was priest. Some of the scholars, they said, we're not sure, maybe from paganism, because Egypt in that time, mostly they believe in idols. But what happened, his story starts. One day the Pope Alexandros, he looked from his window, he saw a young boy talking to people, and after he baptized him in the water. So he called him and told him, why you do this? I saw the Christian people, they do this. Some people, they said, he know how to baptize people, that means he was from Christian family. Some they said, no, he was watching his friend in the church. But this is not very important, but at least we know what the scholars say about him. After the Pope, he was very happy from him. He took him and he went to the Theological College in Alexandria, and the Pope looked after him, and he ordained him as a deacon. Not as a deacon like us, no. That means diacon, full deacon. Full deacon, they wearing black and they consecrate their life for God. In that time, there was a big problem between the Orthodoxy and the Arius. Arius, he was very smart, and he finished the Theological College, but unfortunately, they ordained him priest. What he was believe Jesus is not God. There is God, Jesus less than him, not equal to him, and they start make people confused. This was the biggest problem until now, the one we face now for Jehovah's Witness. Okay? So what happened, they have to do council of the church, and it was the first council of Nicaea. That's why done council of Nicaea, because the heresies of Arius about the Father not equal to the Son. What they happen, they collect 318 bishops from around the world, and they have big council. Every time they count them, they found them 319. But they look to the bishop names, they found only 318. They count the chair again, they found 319. They look to the name, they found 318. They know Jesus was present with them. That's why any council of the church happened after this, they put the Bible presenting God as 10. Okay? The Pope Alexandros and the council of the church, they excommunicate him with a lot of dialogue, and they explain to him the right faith, but he didn't believe, he was very stubborn. They excommunicate him. Bob Alexandros, before he died, he saw a vision. He saw Jesus appear to him with torn clothes. He asked Jesus, who tore your clothes? He said, Arius, because he divided me from the Father. So he had two assistants, this Pope Alexandros. He had someone he's called Archelaus, and another one, I think, was Timotheus after him. I think so. What happened? Archelaus, after the Pope Alexandros' departure, they ordained Archelaus' assistant to be a bishop. But Arius, he was very sneaky. He told him, I believe in your faith, bring me back. So he allowed him to pray in the church. But because he was sneaky, and he didn't listen to his Pope Alexandros, he told him, Jesus is not happy from what he's doing. God, he take his life, this Pope Archelaus, after 6 months only. And it was the shortest time ever a Pope sit down on the throne of St. Mark. To show you, people not following God, he not mark around with his faith. Alright? In this council of the church, the king is very famous king. I can't remember the name. I will get the name because it's a lot of information. Anyhow, the empire was he was a Christian. Constantine. Yes, that's good. And he told them, I give you my throne to judge whatever you're happy with or not happy, do whatever you like. I leave the church run by the clerus, but the political run by me. And it was nice time at that time. When the clergy told him we excommunicate Arius because he not the same faith, he approved it and they exiled him away. And he told Athanasius attending, first time they hear about Athanasius was about 25, 24 years old Deacon. He came with Pope Alexandros in the Nicene Council. He is the only deacon. They have 318 bishop, and he's the only deacon, and he's the one who was standing, presenting all the bishop for the council of the church, and he was the one answering Arius. So when Constantine the king saw what he done, he told him, you are the hero of the church. And he gave him a present. And from that time, all the trouble happening to Athanasius. Some was jealous. The devil started make a lot of war against him. Anyhow, after the Pope departure, Saint Athanasius escaped and he sat down with Saint Anthony for his cell. He doesn't want to be a Pope because he was, in that time, he started everyone hear about him. Because what happened in that time, the church was like something political America. Like, you know, Obama, he went to Egypt, everyone, he know now what he said in Egypt. In that time, the church was only one church. So imagine any bishop, any problem, all the church around the world they know, because with one language in that time was the Greek language. So everything. Athanasius was known for all the church. Pope Carolus, the Pope after him, Pope 24, every question they ask him, the council of the church, and he answers, they make him law for all the church around the world. To show you was very important, our popes. They was very talented with the best ever people understand theology. If you look to the encyclopedia of the father of the church, you found mostly full of the Coptic Orthodox father, that's before the division, was Pope Carolus, Pope Athanasius, and Pope Dioscorus. And even when they have a dialogue, they ask, like Peter, which faith you follow? He says, I follow the faith of Saint Athanasius. That means he follows the right faith. For him, you ask him which faith, he tells Saint Caesar and Saint Dioscorus. That's the faith of the right faith. This is the Pope coming after Athanasius. And even when they dialogue until now, when we dialogue with any church, Protestant, Catholic, any church, and you have council of the church, they get what Saint Athanasius tried, and they tell them, you say this? No, look what Athanasius said, what Pope Carolus said, what Pope Dioscorus said, what the father of the church said, and that they take what they said as a law of the church. Anyhow, they took him, they forced him to make him Pope, and he was Pope and less than 30 years old. He was the youngest one. He was very talented, and they tell him, the scholar described him, he was short, they said his eye was very sharp, and you can see him for the first time, you respect him. Because he was very famous, to start jealousy from somewhere outside. So they make council the father of the other church, they make council to try to excommunicate Saint Athanasius. That was first exile. First thing they said about him, against him, they said he killed one of the bishops and he cut his arm. And they bring his arm to the council of the church. But this bishop was attending, so they know he was liar. Another lady, she said on the council of the church, he done adultery with me. So Athanasius sat down with his monk, one of the monks, he said, did I know you? I didn't see you before. She said, yes, you Athanasius, you did this to me. They know she lied because she doesn't know Athanasius from his disciple or the one attending. It was a lot of faults, but they come to the stage, they said, Athanasius, he stopped people to sending the wheat to Rome. In that time, wheat was like petrol in that time. So when the empire hears Athanasius older people to send wheat, he signed and they exiled him. And this was first exile for him. He stayed around 2 years and 4 months. But when he went to a country called Periam, somewhere next to France. When he was in this monastery, people started to ask him about Saint Anthony. Because they hear about Saint Anthony, but the monasticism wasn't famous in that time. So they asked him question, and the question, he said, what about I write his story? And he wrote his first story they call Vita Anthony, with Latin language, with Greek language. He writes it in Greek. But what after this Jerome, one of the very scholar Latin people, he translated from the ancient Greek or Greek language to Latin. Europe in that time, they know the Latin. So from the story of Saint Anthony, Saint Athanasius, he wrote it. All the monasticism around the world, they start. They start in France. They start in Italy. All Franciscans. They read the story, they come to Egypt, they learn. And even if you went to any monastery here in Australia, anywhere, you found the law and the reading and writing of Saint Anthony, because he was the first monk writing for the monasticism. So all this learned from the story Saint Athanasius writes. After Athanasius was exiled, so the empire, the people around him pressured him to let Arius come back. So he said, Arius, come back. So they told the bishop in one of the cities, let Arius pray with you. This bishop was very disappointed. He went to the altar and told the God, you have two choices. Save your church or take my life before this man come and burn the church. So Arius coming to the church to pray, he had stomach ache. He went to one of the toilets, his guts come out and he died. And all his followers, they know he was wrong and was deceiving the bishop to say, I am coming back to the faith or something. That's why to show you is the Jehovah Witness, we not muck around with them. We don't like them at all, even to come our home. Because these people divide Christ. They say Christ not God. If Christ not God, so why he died for us? Why we are a Christian, for instance? Why we call ourselves a Christian? Okay, they said Christ is the Archangel Michael. But unfortunately, all this one wrong. And they target the people who doesn't know the Bible and the church. Alright? They exiled him again, number 2 and number 3 and number 4. It's a lot of history, but it's very interesting. I cut it short for you. Number 5, Saint Athanasius, he was about 67 in that time and tried to exile him. So people was very angry. So they took Saint Athanasius and hid somewhere in Upper Egypt. He was hiding for 6 years. No one know where he is. But he was sending message everywhere, the Christmas message and Easter message to his people, but no one know where he is. But he come back when he was 75 years, he departure, but last exile, they tried to exile him. After 67 years, everyone was standing and said, he's not going to come out unless in our project. And they stand for him. God, he gave him last 5-6 years in his time was good, so he cleaned his church from all the teaching of like Jehovah Witness, Arius and all his followers. In 1973, Pope Shenouda, God extended his life, he went to Rome and they had meeting and he got some of the relics of Saint Athanasius. And if you visit our big cathedral, I saw it myself, we have big place for his coffin. Some part of his body come to Egypt because he was in Egypt, but unfortunately his body was stolen outside Egypt. But we got some part of his body, and we have another cathedral, Bahira, Saint Athanasius Cathedral. We have now monastery in Ireland St. Athanasius Monastery, and we have church here, St. Athanasius and St. Damiana in Bankstown. We have his name for everywhere. He's very famous Saint Athanasius. They call him Apostolicus. He's not from the apostle, but because the he suffered, that's why they call him St. Athanasius the Apostolic. They got very famous book. He wrote it, Incarnation of Christ. That's a very nice book you can find in the internet, and